Hi, fellow book nerds. Now that we're nearing the end of July, I have a couple of recommendations I'd like to give you, and it is rainy outside, so you know this is the perfect weather to be reading. The first one is When You Know by Gauri Buddh. Now, this is a debut novel, and it is divided into three parts: figuring out people, figuring out self, and figuring out life, not necessarily in that order. And there are also like personal recollections written by the author where she talks about conversations that she's had with different family members, and also conversations that she's had with strangers that she'd met while traveling. And you know what? If I'm being completely honest, I didn't think that I would like this book as much as I did. Like, I'm someone who prefers fiction over non-fiction. Like, I have read my fair share of memoirs and self-help books, but this one, something about this book just made me feel seen. Like, I was reading the book and I was just nodding my head. And you can see, like, I have just marked so many pages because A, this book is extremely quotable, and B, some of these quotes just literally brought goosebumps. Like, I could flip a random page and let me just open. No one is permanent, but their learnings and wisdom can be. Just that line. Like, I love quotable books. And you know what? Like, so many parts of this book, so many chapters of this book were so relatable to me. There was this one situation that the author talks about where she explains how, you know, that situation where like everyone in your life has everything figured out and it just feels like you're the only one who doesn't know what their purpose is. And if someone were to ask that other person like what their life would look like in 5 years, they have a straightforward answer, but when it comes to you, you just have a blank face. The author talks about that, and she also talks about what it means to be truly happy and how to strike that perfect work-life balance and so much more. So I would highly recommend this to people who are sort of figuring out, they're sort of in that figuring out phase, and who are sort of like in that position in their life where they have to make like major decisions. Then I would highly recommend this book. Now, When You Know recently came out. Like, it recently, like, you can go and buy it on Amazon, but the two books I'm going to be talking about, these two have been out for quite a bit. They're part of a beloved series that you may have heard of, and even if you haven't, read the books, there are people who haven't read these books, you would have heard them, and they are none other than the Harry Potter series, particularly the second one and the third one, Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, I am a Harry Potter fan, but like, I have to admit, it has been over 5 years since I've picked these up again. I used to read these back in the day. I used to read these like continuously, but I just want to pick them up again, see if, I would feel the same. And so far, I have fallen in love with the world of Harry Potter. Like, I finished both of these in a day because I could not stop reading. Like, something about the world, something about the plot, something about the characters and the humor. I absolutely love the humor. Just something about these books especially just brings so much joy. And if you haven't read them, I would highly recommend, because I promise you are not going to regret it. Now, you can follow Book Nerds. We'll give the links of the Instagram account, and you can follow us on YouTube and Instagram down below, so you can check out in the description box.
Just wait, Jagruti, because I have a few books to recommend as well, and here they are. So the first book that I have is Akathexis by Amol Reddish. It is a collection of poems, a notable collection of poems which delves deep into the barren nothingness of human emotions, and it is a final installment in Amol Reddish's emotive trilogy, which has two other poem books, and it explores isolation and aloofness. The reader is privy to a raw and unapologetic study of human emotions throughout the book, and the language is fair, basically reflecting the issues they wish to explore, and Amol Reddish has successfully summed these thoughts in a thought-provoking manner. And it's a perfect companion for you on days you're going through an existential crisis. We all do once a week. So the next book that I have with me is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book resonates with individuals in present times because it deals with themes of racism and police violence. Inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, it's a powerful and gripping YA novel that deals with one girl's struggle for justice. It is the way Star Carter, a 16-year-old girl, is presented throughout the narrative in such an authentic and introspective manner that makes it a good read. And there is one review in the book given by Science Monitor that states, if the hate you give makes you uncomfortable, that's because it should. And that should pretty much convince you to read this book. In addition, they have made a movie about it. So honestly, what are you waiting for? Go read it. And the last book that we have is Gin Soaked Boy by Sandeep Matthew. This is another book that deals with a pretty sensitive issue. Without giving away too much, I would say that the story follows Raj, a former prodigy who turns to alcohol for comfort, and Sandeep Matthew has meticulously created a step-by-step storyline of how depression worms its way into one's life. And it's an easy read where the book is divided into 12 chapters and each chapter deals with one symptom of depression. And it's a good read for anyone looking for books that deal with mental health. And these are all the books that I would like to recommend from my side for this month of July. Stay tuned for more such updates from Team Booknerds, and we'll see you next month.
Hey Mahi, just 1 second. I have a few recommendations as well. How could I leave a recommendation video without recommending some books? So I have 3 books here, just 2 here, but I have 3 in total. And these are some books that I read this month that I really enjoyed as well. So first is The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. This one is about, imagine you just find this notebook and it's just left somewhere in the open, and you open it and you just find a story by somebody else. They have written their entire life story over there, and once you finish reading it, it's like an entire confessional where they are talking about one major problem going. I'm not going to spoil what it's about or anything. You just read it, and now your job is to write your story continuing that. And the thing is, it's almost like a chain reaction, because people find the book, they find people who have problems, and they happen to have some solution at least to that problem, and they just think, okay, let me help out. And you know, the book keeps getting passed around, the stories keep getting circulated around. It's from almost 6 or 7 different perspectives in the story, and it's so heartwarming, guys. Seriously, it's really, really heartwarming. You'll definitely love it. Next up, I have The Mystery Mountains by Arijit Ganguly. This was a sci-fi book that kind of left me really confused. So as per the calculations of some very old sages and all that, people have concluded that the earth is likely to pass through the path of like very large comet fragments and astral debris and all of that in the next upcoming few years. So this is kind of a dystopian novel talking about all that. So this is like a cataclysm that's going to come up, and it can like cause widespread devastation. It can kill numerous people. It can literally decimate our entire human civilization. That's how serious this is. And there are 3 very unlikely characters in this that you just will not see coming. There's like a chef, there's a botanist, and there are like crazy characters in this who embark on this perilous journey, and they are just, you know, finding out various different things. They are trying to put a stop to this cataclysm, and they are also trying to understand why it's happening. They meet so many different people. They are like trying to unravel the secrets of this technology that has the key to like solving this issue. There's like so much, guys, and there's like, this book is crazy. That's one way to describe it. I would definitely recommend you check it out. Next up, I also suggest another sci-fi book, but this one is extremely long. I think this took me a whole month to finish. It's like 480 pages, but you will fly through it. I'm not kidding. That's Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Yes, the same guy who wrote The Martian, which was much shorter, but you remember the hero from that, who's like, you know, a very humorous guy who goes through a lot of problems and he's very goofy about it. The same happens here as well. Okay, I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself. Let me first tell you what this book is about. Imagine you wake up and you're in space. You're in a spacecraft. You're the only person on the spacecraft, and you have like tubes going around you everywhere, and you have no recollection of why you're there. You can't remember why you're there, what your mission is, what you're doing in the middle of space. You don't even remember your name. And slowly all of these memories start coming back to you, and the more they come back to you, you kind of realize that what's going on is much more sinister than what you thought. So this guy initially thinks he is on a mission to, you know, save the world from something, and only as he keeps remembering stuff does he realize he has been played with real bad, and he's headed towards something very much life altering. And there is one character in this book, I won't spoil it for you, but there is one character in this book who appears maybe 100-200 pages in, and that character is everything, guys. There's literally just 2 characters in this book, main characters. Everything else is just flashbacks and stuff as the guy remembers. You go to a space station and all of that, but there is one character. and I really liked it. I didn't see it coming, and I've never seen that done before in a book, and that made this book stand out for me. So definitely check it out. And that's it, guys. You have some recommendations from all three of us now. Thank you, Jagriti. Thank you, Mahi, for your recommendations as well. This video useful, then definitely do like, comment, and share on it. What books did you read in July? Which ones were absolute bangers that you recommend to everybody else? And what are you reading next right now? Definitely let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next video coming up way sooner than you imagine.